So for this week's video, it's going to be my Fitbit Charge HR review. So for those of you who don't know what a Fitbit Charge HR is, it's basically a heart rate monitor wristband that monitors different things throughout the day for your body. So I got this 2 weeks ago and now this is my review. So let's get right in with the video. So I have the Fitbit Charge HR in the color plum, and basically the Fitbit Charge HR isn't the most advanced model, but it's also not the most basic model. So when Fitbit released these three new, I guess, trackers you can call them, the lowest model or the most basic model is the Fitbit Charge, which does essentially everything that this one does, except this one has the heart rate. Then they have the Fitbit Charge HR, which is this one, and then they have the Fitbit Surge, which is the most advanced model that they just released, which essentially it just does everything more in depth, and it has like GPS, and you can, I'm not sure if you can text message on that one. That one's supposed to be the main competitor for the iWatch, but I don't have that one, so I'm going to be talking about the Fitbit Charge HR, which is the middle model. So before buying the Fitbit Charge HR, I did a lot of researching on other models, like the Garmin VivoFit was a close one, and the Jawbone Up 3, I believe it is. This one for me just became the top one because it had everything on the screen. So for the Jawbone Up 3, that was a close second for me, but it did not have all the information on the screen. So if you can see here, as soon as you press the button, you can see all your stats in real time. But on the Jawbone Up 3, you actually had to go into the app to see everything about it. So I found that if I wanted to know about my heart rate instantly, I found this one was the right one for me. So now let's take a look at the actual band. So I took it off to show you guys. So this is what it looks like. It says Fitbit there at the front. And then in the back is the heart rate monitor and the charging port. So what I like about this one, rather than the regular charge, is that it actually has a kind of a watch latch. The other Fitbit Charge didn't have an actual latch on it. It kind of just, it's hard to explain, but if you look on the website, you can see that they both look differently, but this one is much more secure, and I'm not worried about doing my daily activities during the day with it. So, my time is on, but basically what it is it just feels like this, and it feels sort of rubbery, and there's a small like cross pattern design, if you can see that there. Right there. So now let's take a look at the actual screen. So if you first press the button, it shows the time. The second one is your steps that you've had throughout the day. Third one is your heart rate. So I was just wearing this, so it had my heart rate. The fourth is how far you walked in kilometers. I have it in kilometers, but you can get it in miles, I guess. Hold on, it disappeared. Then how many calories you've burned today. And then how many flights of stairs you've climbed. So what I found is that this isn't the most accurate because it uses the commercial stair height. Commercial stair height is 10 feet, I believe, and most residential stairs are only 6 feet, so it doesn't fully count it because it uses like the altitude that you once were versus you were. It's kind of confusing, but basically all the stairs, if you climb up your stairs 5 times, it's only going to count it as 3 times because it adds them all together. So it's not the most reliable thing. So another con that I found with the Fitbit Charge HR is the heart rate. So don't get me wrong, it's very reliable. I really enjoy looking at my heart rate in real time. Unlike the Jawbone Up 3 where it only gives you your resting heart rate during the night, the Fitbit Charge HR gives you your heart rate anytime in real time using their Pure Pulse technology is what they call it. But when you're doing actual physical exercise, it's not the most reliable thing. So my heart rate could be at 140, but it'll tell me that I'm only at 120 because you're doing so many movements that it's trying to track so many things that it's not the most reliable. But when you're just calm and sitting down or reading a book or walking around, it has 100% pure real-time heart rate. So it's really good when you're not doing physical exercise. But as soon as you stop doing the physical exercise, it'll tell you your heart rate to the exact number. But the only con is that it's not 100% reliable during actual exercise because you're moving your wrist around. If you want to get a really reliable one while you're exercising, I would recommend getting a chest strap, but that can be very uncomfortable. So that's why I like the Fitbit Charge HR, because it was on your wrist. Another thing I liked, or another feature it has, is the calling notifications. So say you're going to get a call, your phone has to be in close proximity to you and it has to have Bluetooth on, but say you get a call, it'll actually show up on the screen saying who is calling you for you to answer your phone. So I'm going to go grab my phone and I will show you how it works. Okay, so now I'm calling my phone and it'll show up on my Fitbit. It's ringing. So let's see. See? home. So basically what it does is it just vibrates and it lets you know that my home is calling me. So it doesn't actually ring, and it only vibrates once, just to let you know, because it's not an actual phone. But I find this really helpful because I find that a lot of the time I have my phone on silent, which means I can't hear it when it's ringing, and it doesn't vibrate either. So I find that this really helps me to pick up my phone. So another feature that the Fitbit has is that you can actually track the amount of time that you are exercising. So if you hold down the side button here, it'll actually show up and say how long you're exercising for. So then you can also go and look at your other heart rates and your stuff while it's still tracking your exercising. So let me stop that. And to stop that, you just hold on to the button. Again, you press the button again. So I found that really helpful when I'm doing an exercise and I don't want to go down and actually go into the app and search the exercise. I just want to see how long I'm doing it for. And basically, yeah, that's what it's meant for. I'm going to show you is the actual Fitbit app. So basically it has everything that the Fitbit does on its little screen, all incorporated into an app, and it's really easy to navigate. So when you open the app, this is what the app looks like. It has just a bunch of your stats. So the first one, it says how much battery your Fitbit Charge HR has. So right now mine's about half. Then the amount of steps that you've taken today and your heart rate, but since I'm not wearing it, I don't have my actual heart rate on there. And it'll show you your BPM during the night. And then you have how far you've walked and how many calories you've burned, the floors you've climbed, how many active minutes. But since I haven't done any exercise today, I haven't logged anything in my phone. You can track your exercise, how many pounds you need to reach your goal. What else? How many hours you slept. So I find this is really helpful on how much you sleep and when you actually fall asleep. So if you actually go and press into the app, it'll show you when you fall asleep and the times awake. And if you press this little button here, you can actually see exactly the time when you were asleep and when you weren't asleep. I find it really interesting to see when I've had a restless night and how long I've actually been awake during the night when I actually don't realize it. So it's pretty cool. And unlike the Jawbone Up 3, you don't actually have to set that you're going to sleep. So I know I was reading the reviews on the Jawbone Up 3, and basically they were saying a lot of people forget to put it on when they're going to sleep. Either they're on their phone at night and they just fall asleep, or they just get into bed and completely forget to check in with the app. So the Fitbit Charge HR automatically logs that you're going to sleep, which I find is really helpful and really awesome, that you don't have to worry about remembering to put your phone to sleep. So the next thing that you have is how many calories you've put in. I haven't put any calories in yet, but how many calories to go till you eat, for you to eat. So it wants me to eat 1,425 calories per day. Probably haven't reached that, but I just put in most of my meals. I don't put in every single meal because I often forget, but if you're an avid eater and you want to put that all in and see how many calories you've eaten, that's good for you. And then how much water you're drinking. So I haven't drank any water today, but when I do, I will put it in. So basically it comes with 1,800 milliliters per day. Well, I have it in milliliters. You can change it to ounces if you'd like, but it comes with a goal of 1,800 milliliters for me, but I decided to lower that to 1,000 because I don't drink as much water as I should. But I find that this really helped me realize how much water I've how much water I've drank and how much water I need to drink in order to reach my goal. So that is the app, and I forgot to mention, you can actually go into each one and it shows you a bunch of different options. So you can also customize your display, your clock face, your heart rate, and you can set your own goals. It comes with automatic goals, but you can also set your own goals at your own pace. And then another feature that it has is a silent alarm, which it basically vibrates your wrist at a certain time where you set it. So I had mine set at 7:50 one day. And it's really good because it doesn't make any noise. So if you sleep with another person, or if you have your husband or wife in the room with you, you don't want them to hear you getting up, or you don't want to hear the noise, or if you don't wake up with noise. So I know a lot of people are heavy sleepers and noises don't wake them up. But if someone's physically vibrating your wrist or something, like the Fitbit, it'll wake you up. So I find that's really helpful right there. And what's another thing? So you can also have notifications. So what I was saying before about the calling, you have to actually have it turned on here. So go to your notifications and you turn it on. I'm not sure if it automatically comes with it. I can't remember. And you can also go back to your other days and see how you've compared to your other days. So now here are the challenges part. So if you have family or friends that are on Fitbit or have a Fitbit, you can actually challenge them into different challenges. So goal day is a challenge where basically you challenge anyone who has a Fitbit who you know to see who can reach their goal the fastest. So I've never done it because I'm the only one I know who has a Fitbit, but if you guys know people who have Fitbits, this is an awesome way to get motivated. And this is the Fitbit Charge HR plug. Actually, this is my iPhone one, but it comes with like that. And essentially you just plug it into the little area there. Here, I'll show you. It's not the most stable thing, so you have to make sure that it's not falling. Where does it go in there? So it goes like that, and then you just plug it into the wall. So I plug it into this little cube thing, and then it works. So it normally charges pretty fast depending on how low it is. It lasts about 3 to 5 days on average depending on how much you use it. So I remember the first week I got it, I checked it like every single minute of every single day because I was so excited, and it only lasted me 2 days. But now that I've gotten used to it, and I'm still excited about it, but I don't check it every single minute, it lasts me around 4 to 5 days, which is pretty good. And it only takes an hour to 2 hours to charge, so that's really good. If you're going to charge it quickly before you go out, or if you charge it overnight, it'll charge up really quickly, and then you can put it on and continue tracking your steps and your heart rate and things the next day. So overall, I would totally recommend this to any person who is looking for a fitness tracker. I believe the heart rate monitor is an awesome feature. It's not overly big on my wrist. Like, that's what it looks like on my wrist. So it's not super thick. It is thicker than the Fitbit Flex, which is the lower version of the newest line that they released. But unlike the Fitbit Surge, it is much smaller. Like, the Fitbit Surge is probably around that size on my wrist. So if you have a bigger wrist, then yeah, perfectly go ahead for that one. But since I have a smaller wrist, I think it would look abnormally large on it. But other than that, I love this Fitbit tracker. I would recommend this to anyone. If you're looking for a Fitbit tracker, this one is honestly a really good one. It has some flaws, as do any of the trackers, but other than that, it is pretty much one of the best trackers out there. I'm obsessed with it. I love the way the app works. It's very easy to navigate. It has awesome cues on when you're running and gives you a lot of motivation, and it also lets you know when your battery is low in notifications. So honestly, the whole Fitbit tracker HR is really good. I'm really glad that I invested in this Fitbit tracker. It's not one of the most expensive ones, but it is a little pricey, but I'm glad that I spent the money for this tracker, not a lower tracker, because I'm really pleased with it. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I know it's not like most of my videos, but I thought I'd try something different. And before you ask, I'm not affiliated with Fitbit in any way. They did not sponsor me to do this video. They did not pay me. I just wanted to show you my opinion on the Fitbit Charge HR. And honestly, as you can tell, I love it. I'm really glad that I got it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week. Bye.